All right. Welcome, everyone. I think that's the fastest that we've ever got everyone in their seats, which is phenomenal. I only had to ask one time. So you're all welcome back next time. But it's great to see so many friendly faces here and some new faces as well. And excited to introduce you to some really promising startups. So without further ado, it's with respect and gratitude that we acknowledge we're gathered here today on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We have some amazing sponsors, and we wouldn't be able to do this without them. So our partners and sponsors get hands-on. These are great companies for the startups to know and to work with. So we know them all personally and very well. So if you ever need introductions or anything, we'd be happy to make them to these great sponsors and partners. We are here today at BCIT Tech Collider, and so another one of our great sponsors. You may see a few people walking around with the BCIT badge. We have some great volunteers, so thank you, Ren, Ethan, and the team. You are all awesome, and we're happy to have you. We're lucky to have you. We also have Keiretsu. I think Greg is even in the room today. There you are, Greg. And so Keiretsu has been a great partner of ours for a long time. We sort of feel like the little sibling of Keiretsu, the farm team for their more seed plus and Series A type deals. So if you are an investor that's interested in those later stage businesses, then definitely a good place to go and have a conversation with Greg, meet with Brianna and Nathan, or anyone at the Keiretsu team. They're a great partner to have as well. About VANTEC, we are a community, so we have service providers, we have sponsors, we have our investors, obviously funds, individuals, and it's together that we're able to support the startups in our ecosystem. And we're looking to build this community as much as we can. So if you have friends or people you think might be interested, I'd love to chat with them, and we can talk about how they can get involved as well. We do have, obviously, the memberships as a part of how we are able to do what we do today. And so as part of that membership, you get 11 months of pitch events where we have 10 to 15 companies that pitch at these events. You connect with angel investors, you build your relationships and co-invest, do due diligence together. Honestly, that's one of the fun parts. I love to do due diligence. I love to share that with others and get expertise and learn myself through the other angel investors and investors we have here. And obviously promote your programs and events. And we've got a few people that will be promoting what they've got going on, different funds, different programs, all of those sorts of things. One thing I want to mention about VANTEC, I've been doing this with Lindsay for about a year now, and we are now at the point where we're starting to implement some of our grand plans and seeing if they create more value and if they are really going to help with VANTEC in the future. One of those things is Dealum. And so we're going to be switching from Gus to Dealum. And this is a platform that's just much more, I guess it's full service. It's more encompassing of what you're looking to get out of it. We can get more information on the companies. We standardize that information that you're getting, makes it really simple for you to find the types of deals that you're looking for. We can even automatically send you the deals that match your profile. And it just keeps everything in one place. And so that's going to help a lot. And we look to push this out by the end of this month so that it's in use for the October event. So you'll be getting an email, you'll sign up, you'll fill out your profile, and then we will get a bit of an intro and training on that from Dealum themselves. So just wanted to mention that that's on its way. Next, I'd like to introduce Dave and Jeff from SFU Venture Labs to tell us a bit more about the programs that they have.
Actually, we're here from Rocket Builders. I'm Dave Thomas. I'm with Rocket Builders and also Venture Labs. Jeff Hansen, Rocket Builders, and Garibaldi Capital. We're here to tell you about the go-to-market program. It's something we've been doing for a long time. The key aspect is that it helps a company develop an updated marketing and sales plan. So if you're an investor, quite often you want to know why they're going to win in the marketplace. It has three pieces to it. An update on strategy, a detailed marketing plan. In other words, what am I going to do in the marketplace that fits my target market and also my company's capability? And then what is my sales model? How do I sit down and say, what am I going to do for going into the market with sales? Some cases it's integrated with marketing, in other cases it's independent. All right, the timeline program starts in October, actually on the 16th. It is a hybrid. Most of the work is online. It goes through until the middle of February. There are 8 webinars, workshops. There are 3 presentations where the company will present what it's going to do in terms of strategy, then marketing, and then a fully integrated program that includes sales. We take up to 12 companies. This is a joint program with IRAP. So it must be an IRAP company that is part of it. And IRAP sponsors and subsidizes the whole program because they see this as something that's important for a lot of the client companies that they have. Cost is $500. If you're not an IRAP client, you can still come. Every year we end up referring a company or the 2 that does not work with IRAP to become one of their clients. And this is some of the alumni. So this fish, I think we have heard about this fish. What's interesting is they built a whole strategy to do things, and some of it took as much as 2 years because they sell into the worldwide cannery industry, and it's a very traditional and slow-moving industry. Others, you'll see AirTrail, very interesting company in the aerospace market, doing very well in Canada, but knew that when they went into the US market, they had to have a totally different marketing plan. I won't get into a lot of detail, but OneCup.ai, I know is a company that's presented here, raised money. Very, very important that they were able to communicate what their strategy was and also how they would execute, and that helped them to raise money. A couple of older companies that are obviously have exited. This is how you can reach us, either through email. I'm the guy without a badge. We won't worry about that. If you have any questions, you can come and talk to us at the end, and I'm going to give this back to Aaron. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Round of applause. And of course, if you'd like to get connected, you can get connected through us as well. We're happy to make that connection. All right. Next up, we have an update or an announcement from SureSwift Capital. So I'd like to introduce James. He's also here with John and Natalie. SureSwift is going to introduce their new fund, and James and John are part of Syndicates, which is one of our member funds. So they're here looking at companies for that as well, and they're out of Victoria, so have a look at the companies that come through online and that sort of stuff as well. But James, without further ado, I'll hand it over to you. Take it away.
Yeah, so I'm the CEO of SureSwift Capital, and I'm very pleased to share with you about our company and our new investment opportunity Fund C. So some of the highlights of SureSwift Capital: we acquire and grow profitable B2B SaaS businesses. From these acquisitions, we provide very high monthly cash distributions to our investors while growing the value of our businesses. Our monthly returns to our investors are very tax efficient, so they're a return of capital, and they range between 15 and 40% annualized. We're proven. SureSwift Capital started in 2015. We have 2 successful funds, and we're now launching our 3rd fund. So we acquire B2B SaaS businesses from technical co-founders. They tend to be 5 to 10 years of age, 1 to 5 million in annual recurring revenue. And so these technical founders have gotten these businesses to a certain level, and then they often want to leave and do another business venture, or for various reasons want to take their chips off the table. There's a lot of these SaaS businesses out there, but there's few acquirers of these SaaS businesses. And so we can acquire them at very smart multiples. So we've set up our business to manage these small businesses very well and very profitably. We have a very experienced team of finance, HR experts, and John and myself, we are quite accomplished software business operators. And so we have our corporate team, and then we have 14 portfolio businesses with teams around the world. So a little bit of our track record. Our Fund A was a smaller fund. We raised 10 million US. It was launched in 2018. And so recently we've been giving out over 30% annualized cash on cash returns. As of the start of this year, we've returned all the capital to our investors. Our net asset value at the start of the year was over 28 million. So that's a multiple of invested capital of 3.8 times. And an IRR of just north of 40%. So our second fund was a bigger fund. It was 28 million US. We deployed it over 2020 to 2022, acquired 9 businesses. So as of the start of this year, we returned 30% of the capital back to investors, but as of today, it's close to 50%. And so we have our net asset value at the start of this year at 32. And so the IRR of this fund is just north of 16%. And so as we grow these businesses, the goal is to get our cash on cash returns at 20% or higher. So our Fund C, we're targeting a $25 million USD fund to acquire 5 to 10 B2B SaaS businesses. We've hit our first close of 7.5 million US, and with some amount of debt, earnouts for the founders, as well as founders rolling some of the proceeds back into Fund C, we can essentially double our buying power of our fund. It's a $250K USD minimum commit. We call it over 2 to 3 years. And our management fees that pay for all the corporate overhead, HR, IT, finance, et cetera, we take 2% of revenues, 20% of EBITDA, and then all the other profits every month we give out to our investors, and we have a 20% carried interest. Our target returns for this fund are 20% annualized cash on cash returns or greater, plus business growth. So if you're interested in learning more about SureSwift Capital, maybe have deals to refer, interested as an investor or learning more, you can talk to Natalie Arsenault, our Director of Investor Relations. She lives in Northern Vancouver, West Vancouver, or John Austin, our COO, or myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, James. Excellent. And of course, you can get connected through myself as well. All right, I think we have another community announcement here. So is Edward in the... Come on up here, Edward. We'll let you give your announcement here as well to tell us more about... Oh, did we...
Just one page.
Yeah, just one page. We can go back to that.
Thank you very much. I'm Edward Chu from E11 Ventures. So E11 Ventures is angel investors, and we are also a consultant helping a company to develop a business in Canada. So we are the members of VANTEC. We have been working with VANTEC for many years. We help the startups to establish the business in Canada since 2019. So Asia is a huge market with populations of 4.6 billion, and the average age is 32 years old. So it is very, very big, attractive. So people want to go into that market. But recent years, people are moving out from China, where it used to be the hubs to the Asia. So we are thinking that Taiwan can be one of the hubs or countries that can help startups to develop the whole Asian market. So we are hosting a webinar where the industry experts will introduce them how to expand your business into Asian market using Taiwan as a gateway, and they will teach you the one-on-one of the business, how to soft landing your business, and also we will featuring the market consulting company introducing some the cultural differences, how the cultural differences will affect the product design, your marketing strategies, and how to overcome that difficulty. So yeah, the webinar is on next Friday, 20th of September, starting at 8:30. So please scan the QR code and do the registrations. I will see you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And sorry, Edward, do you have the... Thank you. Sorry, I didn't need to give that to you. That was Edward of Edward Chu of E11 Ventures. So like I said at the beginning, if anyone has announcements and things that they would like to share with the members, I'm more than happy to oblige. So just let me know and we'll put together a slide, or you can put the slides together and we'll give you the stage here. So few more community announcements, and what I'd just like to say about all of these is that we send out a newsletter every month. If you're not already subscribed, great to subscribe. The biggest thing you're getting out of it is obviously the things that are happening around town. There's one actually in Calgary here, so we broaden out and tell you about the opportunities in our ecosystem. So Toe Summit is having their summit in Calgary here. The Vancouver Tech Week is coming up September 12th to 18th, so starting tomorrow. We also have Women Innovators Meetup at UBC Robson Square happening on September 19th. There's the State of Startup Investing through the Startup TNT Summit, which is coming and kicking off in September on the 17th there. And also the Health Tech Ignite 2024 is happening in October on the 10th. And we have been told that 5 people that are interested, we can give a 25% discount for investors. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out to Lindsay at community@vantec.ca or myself. I'm sure you have my email. So we do have the Startup Visa Program as part of what we have at VANTEC here. I don't see Jackson in the room, but if you are here, you can say a few words. I don't see him, but if you're interested in learning more about the Startup Visa Program from both the investor standpoint or as a company, please let us know. Sorry, Richard. Awesome. Okay, and so last kind of thing I would like to just mention is that a lot of people here, they have a couple different hats that they wear. Obviously, companies are here to meet with investors, so do make sure you're wearing your investor hat or be very upfront with the fact that you aren't an investor so that entrepreneurs can make the most of their time here, meet with those investors. And we have our interest feedback sheets here as well. We had a few paper copies floating around. We also have the ones online here. And so all of the feedback is welcome, regardless if you're interested in investing in the company or not. If you do show your interest, we will give your information to the company so that they can reach out to you. So make sure that you're only checking that off if you are interested in speaking with any of the companies. Obviously, you'll probably meet with them afterwards and you can share your contact information as well. So without further ado, we're going to get into the companies presenting today. So we have 12 companies presenting, 6 90-second, 6 5-minute presenters. Pretty common that we have these. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce Dex from Common to tell us a little bit more about Common. Now, actually, this is a slightly different style of pitch or presentation that we're going to do because Common is actually an event management platform that we at VANTEC are looking to pilot in November. And I'll let Dex tell us a bit more about his team, himself, and the market opportunity that you are exploring with Common, and also the pain points that you're looking to solve here. So Dex.
Thank you, Aaron. My name is Dex. I am the CEO and co-founder of Common, and we've created the first do-it-yourself event management platform with enterprise-grade features and automatic connection tracking. My team is a group of event professionals in the software industry with over 12 plus years in experience. We've worked with smaller professional events like this and super large-scale events like the Oscars. So the main problem that we run into over and over again is that people have trouble connecting and tracking their connections. So attendees and sponsors would approach us after events and they would ask us information about specific individuals or groups of individuals, and we weren't legally allowed to actually provide that information. So the feedback was clear. Networking needs to be efficient. You're here to meet a lot of people, and you want to increase your ROI and your opportunities, and we're here to help you capitalize on those opportunities.
And so we felt this ourselves at VANTEC. There's been a number of times that companies have made great connections and had good conversations, but then they come to me afterwards with a very vague description of who they were talking to, asking if I know who they're talking to and if they could make that connection. And so this is something that we're interested in piloting to see if it can create those connections post-event and really make sure that people are getting connected to the people that are most important for them to connect with. So you talk about some of the, well, I'd like to hear a little bit about some of the features that you are building into this so that we can know how it can apply to an event like this.
Yeah, so we've created several features, and the goal is to make your networking as efficient as possible. Our first feature is, and our bread and butter, is our proximity technology. So with this technology, there's no need to worry about tracking your connections anymore. At the end of the event, you're going to get a curated list of everyone you talk to, and it's sorted by duration of time spent around those people. So no need to constantly have your phone out, exchanging phone numbers or QR codes or swapping business cards. Keep your phone in your pocket, stay engaged in your conversation, make the conversation more meaningful, and connect after the event. So for example, during the open networking of this event, you might talk to 15, 20 people. Some of those conversations good, some of them okay, some of them bad. But chances are you're not going to get the contact information of all the good and okay conversations you've had. And that's where Common comes in.
I like the sounds of that proximity feature that you have, but are there any privacy concerns with that?
So we take privacy concerns very seriously. As a user, you only need to share what you want to share. You don't actually have to use our networking features if you don't want to. We still offer all the same event management platform features that you'd expect, but it's to your benefit to use our networking features. You can turn it off at any time via a button at the top of the screen. If you allow us to, we'll auto-populate your profile using your LinkedIn profile, and you can keep whatever fields you want private, and you can have it so that other people need to request for certain types of information. So we recommend that you create a compelling profile to attract the kind of people you want to attract.
Cool. Any other big features we should know about?
Yeah, we've added a couple other features. I'll just rip through them quick here. So let's say you're at the open networking part of this event. You don't know who to talk to. Let's say you're a deep tech investor looking for deep tech entrepreneurs. You can filter and search for deep tech enthusiasts in the room, and it'll tell you who to talk to. We're also going to provide you a recommended contacts list before the event of all the people we think you should be talking to and with the characteristics that you're looking for.
And finally, I want to just know how you're different to other event management softwares out there and how you're positioning yourself.
So when you look at the market, there's two ends of the spectrum. There's one end of the spectrum called do-it-yourself software, and this kind of software lacks networking features and other features that would be able to support a more complicated and larger sized event. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have enterprise software. And this is going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's going to cost you thousands of dollars to access, and event margins are slim as is. And so what we've done is we've leaned heavily on our no-code AI tools and proximity technology to unlock enterprise features like indoor navigation at a fraction of the cost. So we've actually reduced enterprise software costs by over 75%, and we're trying to make it accessible to the masses.
Amazing. And you are a startup, and you are in the midst of a capital raise right now. So maybe give us the high level of your raise.
Great. So we had a goal of $1.3 million, and we've hit $1 million of that. And that's under a safe, under a $10 million valuation cap and 20% discount. Any additional funds we're raising are going to go towards defending our IP and servicing our growing waitlist under our GTM strategy.
And I told you that that was a little bit of a different style pitch because we are looking to incorporate this into VANTEC, and so wanted to make sure that we sort of touched on all of the ways that this can really support us in this room and create value for both the investors and the entrepreneurs here. Atome Bakery. I'd like to introduce Alice to tell us more about Atome Bakery. I believe you pitched it here a few months ago, and so now we're getting an update. So without further ado, I'll hand that over and take it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Alice Couder. I'm the co-founder at Atome Bakery. So we are a ready-to-bake sourdough bread and pastry box. We ship them frozen to our customers across British Columbia, Alberta, the state of Washington, and Portland, Oregon. Basically, we serve the millions of Americans and Canadians that live in neighborhoods where they don't have access to an artisan bakery, and they have to rely on highly processed supermarket bread. So far we've gained traction. We've shipped over 7,000 boxes, and we are available in 4 provinces and states. Our goal is to continue growing to more geographies. So like Aaron mentioned, we came in March of this year. We were there, and so far we've achieved the same pace of growth. We continued the 10x growth, and we have achieved $75,000 of revenue in August, and so far in the year, $400,000 in revenue. This model is replicable, so we aim at $900,000 this year and 2.7 million in 2025 by following the same playbook and replicating to other states. So to do so, we need $350,000 US under a safe. We are giving out 10% of Atome in exchange. We are EBC eligible, and we're currently 30% of the way in this raise. So we need 250,000 more. Let us know if you have any question and help us change the limits of the bakery industry.
Thank you so much, Alice. It's great to see you keep that trajectory and that growth. So if you'd like to chat with Alice after, you know where to find her. She also has a table set up here as well on the side. Next up, I'd like to introduce Greg Nook of CopperTeams to introduce us to CopperTeams. We'll get that slide deck on the screen here, and I'll hand it over to you.
All right, let's start with a little bit of fun. Hands up, everybody who's ever sat in a terrible meeting. Hands up.
And keep your hands up if you've ever been frustrated or disappointed in a team experience. That's the problem we're solving. Unfortunately, none of us have been trained how to be highly effective together in groups, and it's not your fault. We're not trained in school, university, or anywhere else. And so most of us think of our teams as something like this, a high-performance racing team. Research is very clear, and I think our lived experience, that this is actually what our team experience is mostly like. So we built a high-performance teamwork and training system. I won't go through it today, but it has 5 steps. And what we do is we reliably transform highly dysfunctional and average teams into highly effective teams. We're so good at this that we guarantee a 20% performance improvement, or we refund our fees. Today, we're 100% in human mode, very intentionally, as we perfect the system. Tomorrow, we're building an AI team coach, and I'm going to introduce you to her in a moment, to scale this to teams around the world. And this is Cora. So our AI experts think that LLM technology, this is actually a fantastic use case to help human beings become morally effective together. And so Cora is going at a very effective price point to be able to serve the 90% of teams who will never be able to afford us to train in human form. Traction in human mode will be profitable by the end of the year. And so the runway we keep extending while we build the tech, and we have some strong evidence of product market fit. Pretty killer team. Finishing off the pre-seed with 200K on a safe, and we're looking for aligned investors who care as much about impact as return. Thank you. My name's Greg. I'm the founder of CopperTeams.
Thanks so much, Greg. I read that. And no, it's really hard to. I'll steal that. We've got this this road, I don't know, block here that is very easy to trip over. So all the presenters, just watch out when you're coming through. Next up, I'd like to introduce Chris Cade of Private B&B. When we get that pulled up, I'll hand over to you. Take it away, Chris.
Well, Airbnb, the party's over. You guys disrupted the whole world as we know it in the short-term rental industry, and it's not the same. It's in chaos. Did you guys know that 75% of Airbnb hosts only have one property? And 9 out of 10 tools out there for these people are built for the commercial property managers. 60% of guests now want to go directly to the host owner, and host owners now want to go directly to the guests on their terms. Problem solved. Introducing Private B&B, the most simple and private direct booking website tool ever built specifically for that core market. It's crafted from over 15 years of industry experience by me. My name's Chris. I'm ex-Microsoft alumni, 25 years in proven revenue building expertise, and this is my team. From product engineering to strategy, we've got it all, and recently we've been accepted into the Founders Hub by Microsoft. We're going to continuously grow into the core market that's been missing for the last 15 years, and we're excited about the market opportunity. We see $3.5 million in the next 3 years and profitability in the month 12. We're a subscription-based reoccurring annual subscription, and every year our markets go up. And we've proven this out. We can acquire a customer for $100 and they're spending $1,000 with us. We're super excited. We're asking for $1 million, and we're currently assessed at 2.5, and we have a 36-month playbook that's seeing acquisition targets out there at $34 million. Thank you very much for your time.
I saw that red card go up right as you finished. The timing on that was impeccable. Thank you so much, Chris. And next up, I'd like to introduce Kaylee Ryan of Capella Design to tell us more about her business here. So I'll hand over to you.
Baby boomers are redefining aging, but the home health industry hasn't kept up. They sell products designed for hospitals through retail channels that stigmatize buyers and don't reflect how older adults actually see themselves. In North America alone, this leaves a $22 billion market underserved. And that's why I founded Capella Design. We're a vertically integrated retailer reimagining high-volume assistive products as beautiful furniture and accessories. We're uniquely positioning ourselves in the market by selling a variety of products for the home that look good, don't require a renovation, and are sold through our destigmatized channels. Our team brings together the best of design, retail, and research. I'm an award-winning industrial designer, and I'm supported through experts in business development, accessible design, occupational therapy, and digital strategy. So far, we've validated our business concept and initial products. We've received recognition in influential publications and at design events. And we've been supported through impact-focused accelerators who understand the opportunity. Now, we're ready to grow. We're preparing to raise in Q1 2025 in order to rapidly expand our product portfolio and cement our offering to commercial builders. I know many of you have established relationships within the development community. This is our B2B customer, and we are looking for advice on how to work with them. Join us as we transform home healthcare with better design.
Great job, Kelly. Thank you so much. And I believe you've got some of your products here. So afterwards, definitely come by and check them out during networking. Next up, we have our last 90-second pitch here. So I'd like to introduce Michael Byrne of BIA Neuroscience, or BIA Sleep. So I'll hand over to you here, Michael.
Hello, I'm Michael Byrne from BIA Neuroscience, where our long-term mission is to provide a full night's sleep in half the time. So the current problem is that 50% of people are unhappy with their sleep. That's the first of three numbers I want you to remember. 50%, that's our market size. So our solution is a smart sleep mask that works like an autopilot for your brain. You put on the mask, and it's like clicking navigate to sleep. We'll do the rest from there. This is to address the number one reason for abandonment in the sleep space. So the number one reason people stop using sleep products is because they stop working. Our mask adapts to your needs and learns and grows. So every time you use it, it gets better and better and better and continues to help. So that's the second number I want you to remember. Now, we know this because we have over 20 years experience in the sleep space, in the neurotech space, growing startups. And that brings us to our third number, which is our pre-order revenue. So we have $2 million in pre-order traction. That's a profitable $2 million. That's the third number to remember, and we did that in 14 months. We've been building this for 2 years, so 24 months in product development, 14 months in ads, and we're looking at launching early next year. We're raising a pre-seed safe round, $375,000 total on a $7.5 million cap, 20% discount, and we do have some funds already raised on that, including from Ryan Gavreau at Clio. So there you have it, 50% unhappy, that's our market size. Autopilot for sleep to address the number one reason for abandonment, that's our competitive gap. And we have multi-million dollars in pre-order revenue, there's your traction. Again, Michael Byrne, BIA Neuroscience.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael. And before we get into the 5-minute pitches, I just want to give a shout out to another small business here, Bottles and Bottega, who are providing the food for afterwards. So amazing team and great food. So I just want to give a shout out there. Next up, we have Wim Kirchhoff to introduce us to Top Left. So Wim, I will hand over to you here.
Great. So yeah, I'm Wim, founder of Top Left, and we help IT support companies, service providers, fix their projects and their service delivery. I started this myself in my IT company, which I still own, about 7-8 years ago, as we were struggling with projects, even though we had software to do that. And I felt like one of our clients today. His name is Steve, one of our 150 paying clients. A lot of information and dashboards, but overwhelmed on what we should be doing next. And yet, in my software dev company I had at the time, we're using Jira and Scrum, I guess. Or yeah, who's here has heard of Jira? Pretty much everybody. So inspired by that. But it didn't integrate with our software. Looked at other options, nothing integrated, and didn't make sense to build the integration. So we built a product. And so the challenges in the IT space, lots of types of work with help desk and projects, security going on, lots of people, the clients, vendors, technicians, engineers, lots of ways to communicate with email, text message, people knocking on your door. And so it's like, what should we do next? And so we built a Kanban interface, again, inspired by Jira and tools like Trello and Monday. And so it's proven tools and methods. It's a whole package with the training, the software, and bringing it to the IT space. It's a real new concept for them. And quick transformation, so they don't need to change the software. They can plug this in within hours to get the visuals and get their work unplugged and moving forward. Obviously, a lot of tools start like Excel, but that's very clunky, not integrated. Clients like Steve looked at things like Monday and Trello, but not integrated. So yeah, unique differentiate, unique there. We have a competitor, Movilla, but they only help the project managers, not the engineers and techs doing the work, and nothing to do with help desk, which is our bread and butter. So coming back to Steve in Australia, he presents his story to our clients. He got a 58% improvement on his project. So imagine if you're doing $1 million of projects a year, that's a huge impact on the bottom line. You can take on more clients with the people you got and without switching software. So with the space we're in right now, as we support more packages, we're adding on to the existing software. That's $1 billion market. We can get outside of the IT space as well. You look at engineers, architects, many other people would benefit as well, and that would be over $3 billion. So we're at 800,000 of revenue in the last 12 months. 150 clients, as I mentioned. We're getting regular demo bookings every month, 1,000 in the last 4 years. Largest client just gave us a 6-figure check, and we've increased that average revenue per client. So plan for the next 1 to 2 years is going up market, getting more of those big fish clients, like I mentioned, the whale clients. So far, all of our, we've only been doing inbound, no outbound. So get the cold calling going and outbound trade shows, build a sales team. I'm doing founder-led sales right now. So build up the team and integrate with more software in the space. Team is myself. I've been into Agile and software development for many years. Did full-time development, worked in all areas of this industry, IT services, having started my own company and done every single role, project management. So I feel the pains of the people in the space. And then Matt has been with me for 14 years across various startups. So he gets software development, Agile, and Scrum. We implement it in the other company, which I've sold. And so he's running the dev team and the product. We got about 10 people around the world. I got a 5-year model showing how we can get a 20 times return on an investment for investors and getting to 3,000 clients in 5 years. Got options to exit. It could be like a Monday.com or a Jira, but it's companies like Skillpad and Vancouver. They're acquiring complementary products in the space. And then so looking for $500,000 so we can double our revenue, get to 300 clients, so add another 150 and get past break even. And so far I've been bootstrapped. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Wim. So now we get to a Q&A portion of the pitch here. So if anyone has a question, feel free to raise your hand. We've got Ethan walking around with the mic here. So we will start it off down at the front here.
It looks really great. I felt the same pain the past 20 years. So my question is, do you have any plans to integrate this into also knowledge base of the customers, not just their operational software, and to help the engineers with quicker solutions, for example, using generative AI or something like that?
We've been testing that. Actually, I just took a screenshot of a board and dump it to ChatGPT and it gives you recommendations. I'm like, we can build a kind of agile coach into the software. So yeah, there's opportunities for that. Yeah.
That if there's not another question, I'll give you a minute to mull it over. But I do want to ask you about your next step here, because getting $800,000 in revenue in the last 12 months is phenomenal. And now you're looking to go up market. So what is it going to take for you to go up market and increase those deal sizes?
A couple of things. So we haven't done any outbound. So getting an SDR to be hitting the phones and doing the outbound emailing. So I got some of the tools. I've done a bit of a proof of concept last year with a person I had, but now I just need a really good North American resource. Not something you really do offshore for that. So there's that, and then trade shows. So we're just starting our first trade shows next month. So just going to some smaller events to kind of beta test, pilot that, and just get the word out there. So we've gotten to this with just referrals and inbound, but just getting the word out there and showing up these places. So yeah.
Great, and definitely a lot of competition, but it's clear that people are feeling the pain and they are choosing you over those competitors and very established ones as well. So that's phenomenal. Any other questions? Yeah, James.
It's like 90. Yeah, the question is that recurring? And it's about 90% of that is recurring. The only non-recurring is like setup fees, and we've done some like paid training for clients. So,
would you be open to negotiating the term sheet and doing a larger round?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Looks like you had a very comprehensive pitch. You covered all the questions that people have. So obviously you're going to be around. You've got a table at the back here. So anyone that wants to chat with Wim afterwards, make sure to do so. And thank you so much, Wim.
Yep,
great job. All right. Next up, I have, getting my my notes here. So Lee Angman of Mondofi. And Lee, I'll let you take over and introduce us to Mondofi.
Before I get started, I just want to let you know my father is my hero in a number of different ways, but one thing I don't like about him is he gave me a hereditary essential tremor. So don't mistake that for nerves. You can just blame my old man for that. All right. Okay, let's get going. My name is Lee Angman. I am the founder of Mondofi. I've been building software for 20 years, and I've had 2 successful tech exits in the last 12. I've owned restaurants and a pub in Vancouver for 21 years, and the common thread amongst all those businesses is that I am focused on corporate finance. I know where every penny has come from, I know where it is today, and I know where it's going tomorrow. All of that has allowed me to bootstrap Mondofi with $800,000 of cash, and I currently own 100% of the equity. And most importantly, You know, the only reason I've found success in the last 25 years in business is to surround myself with people that are a lot smarter than me, align our versions of success, and that's why I'm here today. I want to find you. So if you're out there, let me know. Let me tell you about Mondofi. Mondofi challenges the way that people have traditionally interacted with access control and property management, and we build communities of people that appreciate how we do that. They just happen to live at the same address. The problem that Mondofi was created to address is inefficient and outdated building systems, including antiquated access control, are failing to meet modern residents' needs, resulting in poor property management, lack of modern amenities, and missed revenue opportunities. The solution, of course, is Mondofi. Mondofi modernizes property management by creating a seamless, efficient, and modern living experience with our property management smart building OS, our entry phone access control management software, and our station-based car share program. We also build and install touchscreen entry phones. We have a backlog of opportunity that we can't keep up with right now, and we've spent zero on customer acquisition. The time is now to inject some capital into this and sell hard. With regard to business value, we've shown quantifiably that Mondofi can increase occupancy rates by 53%, increase resident satisfaction by 67%, and almost double the speed at which buildings can be leased up initially. We've also shown a 30% reduction in OPEX. At the same time, let's see here, rates rental building owners and developers are willing to pay to achieve these metrics. Part of our business model, Mondofi generates revenue from multiple sources within our integrated system. At our heart, though, we are a SaaS-based software company. With a full install, a single high-rise residential building could generate up to $18 per unit per month. Our go-to-market strategy combines targeted sales outreach, a multifaceted marketing approach, and a strong focus on the customer. We're getting a ton of traction right now with a third-party security provider reseller program, where we offer them a discount on the MSRP on our entry phones and a percentage of the SaaS revenue in perpetuity as long as the customer exists with us. Speaking of customers, one of our most notable clients, which is Cap REIT, which is the largest REIT in Canada, they have just signed a 3-year extension with us for one of their buildings on May 1st of this year. So it's a little bit of external validation that we're doing something correct. We have a couple of main competitors in North America. One in particular is Butterfly MX, who's raised over $100 million. With the continued focus from every level of government in North America on the need for sustainable rental housing, the market is immense. If we were to grow at only 5% the level in the next 10 years that Butterfly MX has done historically, we'll be a $10 million per year company in terms of revenue. With CMHC and their US counterpart reporting that we're short in the range of about 15 million rental units in North America right now, we're confident that we can grow much, much quicker. Let's see here. All members of the current team are contractors who are ready to scale up when we are, and I have a long track record of helping people succeed and have built a lot of social capital up in this city and beyond. I'm being helped by a great number of colleagues who are excited about Mondofi's future and they're ready to exist. In terms of revenue, we should be in 5 buildings by the end of this year, and then we'll have a strong curve up next year with a number of other projects coming online. Our break-even point will be in 2026 with around 50 buildings, and we could move that timeline ahead if our car share plans in Washington State go according to plan. Some current highlights: we have an incredibly short-term sales pipeline, potential expansion with a large current customer, rapidly scaling car share partner, and a powerful screen manufacturing partner. And our ask is we're looking for $300,000 US pre-seed round investment, and the focus on that will be acquiring 20 to 30 clients, developing 10 plus third-party security partners, and integrating with every major head-end manufacturer and manage scaling. Thanks very much. Look forward to your questions.
Great job, Lee. So, any questions? We've got one at the front here. I'll let Ethan come over with the mic.
Thanks for the great presentation. My question is, I've heard about being bootstrapped by $800,000, if I'm not mistaken, and now you're asking for $300,000 more. So, just a clarification question. I thought that I heard the numbers wrong. Sorry, thanks.
I've got a follow-on question for that. And I mean, we always love to see founders that have skin in the game and have done it to the degree that you have at Mondofi. And 800,000 and the accomplishments and traction that you've got is really impressive. why is now the right time to come out and get money from external investors?
You've heard of money and you've heard of smart money. I'm looking for some smart people. I need help. I am overwhelmed right now, and I just need to find some people that are dialed into this industry that can help me keep up. I spend 50% of my time on sales, 50% of my time on account management, and 50% of my time preparing to raise money. And I'm smart enough at math to know that that's more than 100% of my time. So hopefully that answers the question here.
And maybe just tell us sort of those non-financial asks, like what are the things that you really could use help with?
Ideal customer, ideal investor is a property developer that focuses on rental only buildings. To plug this into an existing REIT or rental building program where we can quantifiably show that we can reduce OpEx by up to 30%. This is a super attractive number for people. And yeah, that's the kind of person that I'm looking for, someone who's really plugged into the multifamily residential market.
Other questions?
Just a quick one. The 300K is on what kind of evaluation? And what are you looking at for the exit?
300K is on I would hope for a 3 million US valuation. We are EBC eligible as well. And in terms of an exit, I mean, everybody here wants to hear 10 or 20 or 50X or whatever it is. I want to drive this thing to the fucking moon over the next 10 years. And I am attached to it as I could ever possibly be. So I can't answer that question with specificity, but that's the philosophy behind it.
What about a path to exit?
Just referring back to those numbers that I talked about with regard to Butterfly MX, the market's so immense. And if we grow, I mean, 5% is so incredibly conservative based on the size of the market right now. There's acquisition targets. I want to be the thorn in the side of other property management access control companies so that we get to say no to offers for buyout. But that would be an absolute path towards it.
Just a quick question also. Your hardware, you're developing an access control hardware or
It's not
do you
developed,
integrate?
it is developed.
It's developed, okay. And it's, does it integrate with older systems where you can like come in and just
Absolutely.
replace the whole
Absolutely. No, we can tie in with any existing head-end system. So Genetec, Salto, Keyscan, Aurora, Domacaba, this kind of thing. But we also have a retrofit option that we could put a inexpensive camera above an existing old school 1985 punch pad phone, entry phone, and tie it into our back end as well with an IP camera.
Thank you so much, Lee. That was fantastic. And I think you mentioned you've got one of the hardware pieces at the back there. So if you're interested in taking a look, meet with Lee afterwards. But great job. Thank you, Lee. All right, on to our next 5-minute presenter here. I'd like to introduce Oscar Alpica, from Rockburst, to tell us a little bit more about Rockburst Technologies and where you're at today. Hand it over to you.
Thanks. My name is Oscar Malpica. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Rockburst Technologies. We break rock with CO2. This is mineral ore after it has been extracted from essentially a mountain and then processed. This is a process called comminution. Comminution, crushing and grinding, accounts for 4% of the global electricity consumption. So we have developed a new way of breaking rock. Instead of using mechanical ways, we use CO2. Drivers for change in the mining industry, what you see on the left is basically the incremental demand for critical minerals. What's in your phone, what's in your tablet, that needs to increase. But we're getting less critical minerals per ore, and that's a problem. To make matters worse, comminution, the process that I just described, takes basically half of the mine's budget. Huge. This is basically driven by the highly inefficient way of breaking rock. It consumes tons and tons of energy. So enter our CO2 pulverization technology. This is a patent technology now. We've been at it for 4 years. New way of breaking rock, we use CO2. Now, what happens when you use CO2? You break rock at 50% energy less than what incumbent technologies are using. And because we use CO2, that CO2 could get sequestered after you have used it to break the rock. What happens if you sequester CO2? You can claim carbon credits. We have 3 lab scale prototypes right now, kilogram size at UBC. You're seeing here alpha and beta. And we have tried this with different ores. Those type of ores that you see on the screen have come from around the world, from top miners. The market is absolutely staggering, absolutely staggering. This is just for gold, extracting gold from tailings, which is going to be our niche market opportunity as a first application of our technology. $58 billion, absolutely immense. We expect a pilot because we have already validated the technology in the lab. So we're planning to take the technology out of the lab and onto the field by a pilot roughly in 2 to 3 years. Commercial unit expect that in 2030. Just as a comparison, the incumbent technology took 37 years to get commercials. Just so you know, I mean, we're talking about different kind of ballgame here, in the mining industry. Luckily, all the miners are paying attention to what we're doing, and what you see here, we have already run paid trials with top miners, top 5 miners around the world, and we have been invited into BHP's technology development program. BHP is one of the top 2, top 3 miners around the world, basically to design conjointly pilot to be deployed again 2 to 3 years. Right now we are there in product design. And for that, we're raising $1.5 million US as a seed round in safe 20% discount. We can talk about terms to pay for essentially 2 main things. Still R&D that we still have to validate a couple of de-risking factors in our technology. And the design of the pilot will tell us exactly how much, how big, et cetera, it needs to be. So we can ask for a Series A round in the next 3 years. Last thing is, I see some familiar faces in here as our advisors, but we have a team spanning now 3 countries, Canada, US, and Australia, with mining experts, with 25, 30 years of experience, as well as supercritical CO2 people. That's the secret sauce of our technology. It doesn't come from the mining industry, it comes from other industries. And we have researchers also helping us, basically push this a little bit out of the boundaries, in Australia, in Canada, and in US. The last thing I'm going to say is that obviously it has gathered some attention from across the board, including Natural Resources Canada. They were the ones, who provided initial venture, for us, to go and explore this new way, completely new way of, breaking rock. And last year, Foresight Canada mentioned us as a top 50 most investable clean tech venture in the country. So thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Oscar. So I'll kick us off with a question here, and something we might want to go back to on one of the slides, but you kind of breezed over it a little bit. The revenue model that you're looking to go with for this is a savings sharing revenue model, or sharing savings, however you want to say it. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about that and talk a little bit about the projections of the potential for a business. A massive market, but how does that relate to revenues?
Yeah, so obviously we're a little bit far away, from that. We expect, full commercial unit in 2030. However, revenue expects come in, from 2020, with our pilot. Savings sharing. Now, we're going to be charging per ton of ore processed. So that's the key thing. Now, we were saying sharing, revenue sharing, because, we're passing on this energy savings to the customer. We're planning to take, a little bit of a piece out of that.
And then they also, you mentioned there's opportunities for the carbon credits as well. So that can be how it can be sort of a no-brainer for customers. So tell us a little bit more about those carbon credits and how that factors in.
Yeah, so this is a huge thing, for the mining industry right now. The miners are a little bit alienated, because, carbon market is not super popular, in their industry. It will happen. We're absolutely sure, this will happen. And a technology like this, to be basically claiming carbon credits of a key process could absolutely change the economics of their own processing. Right now, comminution is a cost center, massive cost center, for the miners. If they claim carbon credits, they could become potentially into a revenue source. If you have energy savings plus carbon credits combined, that could be a powerful combination.
Questions from the audience? I can keep going. I find this very interesting. And I'd like to dig in a little bit to, you mentioned your raise, doing it on a safe 1.5 million US. Did you have a cap on that?
Yeah, probably 10 million.
And you said you're getting into pilots about a year, 2 years from now, and then commercial product ready by 2030. Tell us a little bit about the sort of outlook for this business and what an exit could potentially look like as far as timing, size, that sort of exit.
Yeah, so I think I have to preface, my answer by again explaining the timeline in the mining industry is extremely slow. Nonetheless, the absolutely, the market that we see here is absolutely huge. We expect if everything goes according to what it does, but we expect by 2030 when we get commercial, probably a break even will actually happen not long after that, simply because we expect to have the capex, the actually building these massive machines, outsourced or rather, sourced to OEMs that are already, being interested in our technologies, large like others that are already talking to us because essentially that's what they do. That's what they have always been doing for like 100 years. They build these massive machines. They have, the capital, one, the deep pockets and also the expertise, to build this absolutely humongous machines. And we expect, just to keep the IP and the thermodynamic know-how that could be codified into a software so we can run the heart of those machines. And that's a business model that we are actually.
John?
Yes, hello. Thank you for the presentation. Thinking in the software paradigm, it's fascinating to see sort of the time to market and the adoption of the technologies, 30 years or even 10.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about sort of competitive forces in that tenure and then also IP considerations?
Yeah, sure. So this is patented technology. So we have right now 2 patents in Canada, and we're waiting for 1 in US. We expect more, certainly. In terms of competitors, the competitors are already talking to us. They really want this, in their portfolio, obviously. They are saying, just prove your pilot, and after your pilot, let's talk, because potentially they could acquire us. And that's this is one way that we could potentially go into. There may be other opportunities, for us if the technology is not that expensive to build. This is another reason why we're going after gold tailings. If you go as gold tailings, you wouldn't require large machines, so to speak, because you can process all that many gold tailings, extracting gold out of waste essentially with the smaller machines. And if that is the case, then potentially we can get into that business. Question over there.
Thanks a lot. That was a great presentation. Could you speak just briefly to the practicality of, is industrial quantities of CO2 co-located with mines? And so is it recycled, so you only need a fixed volume, or like how do you get large quantities of CO2 from wherever it is to wherever you need to process?
Right. So there's an aspect that I didn't have the time to explain, but we don't require a lot of CO2, but it's better if miners use a lot of CO2 for carbon credits. So let me back up a little bit. Our system only requires minimum amount of CO2 unencapsulated. But if they use our process as carbon sink for carbon credits, then it is in their convenience, basically, in their profit plan to use more CO2. Now that could come, from different ways. It could come, from capture CO2 capture systems. But then by the time this gets commercialized, we are also betting in potentially direct air capture systems to be more democratized. Okay.
Last question. Yeah.
Just a very interesting concept. What are your biggest technical challenges that you fear the most?
Right. One aspect that we are looking into very carefully right now is how to make this a continuous process. So this is right now by default batch, and it requires very fast, rapid decompression in our systems. However, the beta prototype that we have right now and the money that we're going to be using in the next year, with the beta prototype, we are going to be exploring aspects of continuous processes that will require the introduction of another fluid. I can't really say much there, but that's going to be one key aspect that we definitely have to de-risk, in 1 or 2 years.
Thank you so much, Oscar. Great job. All right. Next up, we have CRWN AI. So I'm going to invite Eric Miller up to tell us more about his business here. So we'll get those slides up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Eric Miller. I'm the CEO of CRWN.ai. Anyways, I was put in the hot seat today. My partner got sick and wasn't able to show up. So anyways, what we've done is we have developed an IoT-based sensor system that actually monitors utilities transmission assets. So what we want to do, our mission is actually to reduce failures, prevent wildfires, increase safety, and reduce liability for the utilities. So the problem, what's the problem? Reliability, size of the grid, and again, resilience. So we have this massive grid in North America. 70% of it is over 50 years old. And we can't monitor. We have no situational awareness on this. Actually, inspections are about every 7 years on these. And the resilience side, we have more and more demand that's going to happen with electrification. So, for an example, that's the problem moving forward. Well, what do we get when we get a sample point every 7 years? Well, PG&E Camp Fire. Another one closer to home, West Kelowna. We got one line that supports 60,000 people. That goes down. You have all those businesses and infrastructure that have no power. These are huge downstream impacts. So what's the solution? We use frequency to predict failures in the most remote transmission lines. This means places where there's no cellular, there's no way of connecting. So how do we do this? Our teams develop, what we do is we developed a box that basically sits on the power line and measures electrical discharge utilizing microphone and radio. It's analyzed through ML and basically categorizes the defects and relays that back to the utility operator so they know what's going on, giving them situations. In addition, we've been maintaining that we will have freedom to operate. We've been filing provisionals throughout the time that we've been developing this tech. So what do we help utilities do? Help them make data-driven decisions in order to fix the assets that are most at risk. Right now, they don't know what assets are at risk until they fail, when they can react or they inspect every set. So with that, we can reduce failures, increase uptime for utilities, reduce their wildfire risk and liability. So over time, the last couple of years, we spun this out of another company, this business. And since then, the BC Fast pilot, we start out and we really just went up on live transmission lines with Fortis and we're just testing if this thing works. It did. Then we went to another test. We won a global competition with Electric Power Research Institute. Again, we started categorizing these defects. Now we're up on lines with AltaLink in Alberta, actively testing and classifying on significant sections of transmission lines. Moving forward, National Grid and AltaLink, we're doing expanded testing and we'll start testing with National Grid in the new year. So market size, 3,600 utilities in North America. We got a big 2025 market is about 78.2 million in the transmission market, 150 billion a year in losses just due to outages. So our target market, I put this up because we're actively working with AltaLink and they're a $3.5 billion component of Berkshire Hathaway Energy. We've been talking with Darren Watson, Berkshire Hathaway Energy. We're testing with them moving forward. Hopefully they will share these technologies in their ecosystem and they own multiple utilities in the US and UK. Grid, same. They are the system operator in the UK or in England and Wales, and we're moving forward to start testing with them in the US this upcoming year. Thank you. Fortis, similar. I got to speed up. So where are we right now? We're testing. We're testing and we're moving in the scaling phase in 25. We've had about $1 million in grant funding, and we're working with the emissions power reduction in Alberta. So we're going to basically double size each year. So revenue, of course, the first 2 years are actuals. 2025 is our best estimate. 2026, AltaLink has 3,000 kilometers of line, high-risk line they would like to monitor. That's 15,000 units. And at 1,500 to 2,000 a unit, 10 million, well, even if we did 1/3, we're going to be well in that. So right now we're in testing phase and we're just building up. We hired on these additional expertise into the company, operations, and of course we had to do matching funds with the RA. Scaling phase starting December. We want to hire a controller, build it, and really just build up the team. And we're looking for expertise and investment to help us actually, because really help us with that far side of scaling. So to date, we've raised 1.9 million so far, closed at a $9 million valuation. We're raising another 2. Force One's already committed 500. They have more in the works, and that's where we're at. That's it.
Thank you very much, Eric. That was a great job. And so just while we're on this slide here, I just want to confirm that the 2 million that you are now raising, this is the second tranche. You're still at the $9 million valuation, correct? It's equity?
Yes.
And it's equity. Fantastic. Okay, we'll open it up for questions. We got one down at the front here. Ethan?
Thanks. Hello, and thanks. Really great. Good job. My question is, you mentioned remote in places with no connectivity. So have you solved the connectivity problem to send back the data through this technology?
Yes. So what we're doing is pretty simple. It's a LoRaWAN network gateway.
Okay. My question is actually based on that. Like, is it possible to use the same technology for other purposes, not just defects? I mean, any other technology?
And we do. We have other sensors other than just microphone and radio on this. We actually have environmental monitoring systems. So actually on the dashboard for the utility that AltaLink has access to right now, they can go in and run comparisons on temperature versus electrical discharge. They can look at humidity. They can look at a variety of these things right on their dashboard.
Okay, so do you have any plans to expand on that side, like other usage of the connectivity technology instead of just the defects?
Like with the previous company, right now we're staying vertical with this. We'd be open to looking at other options. Obviously, if you've got better or other ideas, absolutely. I'm open because I don't pretend I'm the smartest guy in the room. I like to hire people that are smarter than me.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Great job.
Thanks.
With the LoRa, can you tell me about kind of your estimated average deal size? You're connecting devices between these large towers in a kind of a mesh network, so to speak. So what does that look like?
Correct. It's like a spider network. So you would have your gateway, and actually your LoRa nodes would actually each communicate. And so for about every 30 nodes, you would have a gateway. And so, and you can use that. You can either use a SATCOM or you can utilize a cellular network. Obviously, we're in Alberta. We can use the cell for this, but it's like a spider network. As opposed to hopping, it directly connects with the actual node itself or with the gateway.
And just the kind of the anticipated average customer deal size.
AltaLink, because we're in testing right now, and these are paid tests, but it's pretty low revenue right now. But AltaLink's already said, so Darren Watson with Berkshire Hathaway's already said, like, can you guys produce 1,000 units? How soon? Sort of thing. So once we get through this testing and we actually are into that, we have that device that's pre-commercialization, and we can take that. We're anticipating to have a commercialized product in the next 12 to 18 months. It'll be in the thousands with AltaLink, and that's just that small piece of that whole BHE network, and that's what we're targeting for us all those. So is to target those big groups. Right now, target price is it'd be about $1,500 to $2,000 per unit because you're paying for they're going to pay for the box, and then it's a subscription as a service. It'll be tiered based off of what they want to get, because if we have to do customized algorithms for specific things they want to train for, we're obviously going to be charging more on our SaaS model for that.
And one thing I'd like to dig in a little bit to is that you said that there's no one else doing this right now. They do these tests and checks every 7 years. So how are you protecting yourself? What's this?
So what we've done so far is we've been filing provisionals, international provisionals, and then in the Canada and US. And we've just updated. So actually we have our IP lawyer in Calgary right now who's filing additional updated provisionals on this technology. My goal here is obviously I've talked a fair amount with Chris Wormold, who's ex-CTO of BlackBerry, and so I've been getting some good advice from some good mentors, but making sure we have that freedom to operate. I'm not worried about somebody copying. If they want to copy, as soon as you release the patent, everybody knows what you're doing in detail because it's published. The key is that we make sure that nobody can block our road to commercialization and how we're moving forward, and that's the key because we'll be first into the. So from a competitive standpoint, companies that would be similar to us would be like Gridware would probably be the most similar to us. They're an American company. They're Silicon Valley startup. But it's more, they don't use prediction. It's an alarm system. There's other ones that use radio frequency, and they might have one every 5K, but they don't have the level of what I would call detail on seeing these.
Any ideas for future products?
Again, right now, we're focused on this and executing and commercializing this. But yes, absolutely, there is. There's these things called transformer containers where they have no way of figuring out what's going on inside of these. So Fortis has already talked to us about this. So there's other usages that we can use with this. So we can use the core engine technology to actually utilize for other products, for doing assessments for workers and stuff, and being able to actually look inside. We'll get an idea what's going on inside some of these units.
All right, fantastic. And obviously you're having the right conversations with the right people, and that's, I mean, massive market. There are power lines everywhere. If we could get this every kilometer, every 5 kilometers, the market potential of this is huge. I don't think you mentioned it, but you're EBC eligible?
Yes.
EBC eligible. We always like that as well. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Eric. All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Gordon Ruby of Trade Specific. I'll let you take it away here. Here's the clicker.
Hey everybody, I'm Gordon Ruby, and I'm the product manager for Trade Specifics. And today we're raising $850K to focus on development and accelerate growth. But let's face it, there's a lot of unskilled labor right now in construction with a lot of bad. And it's frustrating on construction sites. Everybody's feeling it, from increased labor costs to increased development costs to increased housing costs. I hear it from our founder, Patrick, and our clients all the time. It's kind of like a mix between hide and seek, whack-a-mole, and banging your head against a wall. For example, our founder, Patrick, and Kirby here in yellow are contractors who spend so many hours on the phone playing phone tag with their clients, their crew, just trying to figure out questions like, who's on site? What are they doing? Are they doing it right? Contractors can't be everywhere at once. And so they have to call on their crew leaders to get answers to those questions. And that takes money, time, and it threatens contractors' ability to win more contracts. But what's the bigger problem? It's huge cost overruns. We're talking about $100,000 lost for every million in gross revenue. And there's 500,000 contractors and subcontractors in North America with the same problem. That's where Trade Specifics comes in. Trade Specifics helps workers develop better habits, better working behavior, educating them on how to use technology fit. The app lets contractors know who's on site, what are they working on, and are they doing it right? Now, for the contractor, this is a big deal because it reduces the amount of time spent on back and forth with clients and crew so they can focus on landing more deals. And for workers, they get rewarded for doing exceptional work and they develop better habits while they grow their career. Since 2022, we've had 100 customers. And this year alone, we've had 236 projects completed. And with our most recent pilot, we've seen a 200% boost in productivity where crews are spending 85% less time on activities. That's about 1 day per week in time saved and an 8.5% boost to the bottom line. Plus, we've had over $500,000 in non-dilutive funding so far. Trade Specifics has made over $300K each year in 2022 and 2023. And this year we're poised to exceed that number by 30%. And our competition's actually pretty scattered. Some only focus on safety, some not at all. No one has our full feature set, and no one is actually focusing on building better habits for the workers, certainly not with financial rewards. So by 2027, we aim to capture 1% of the market, which is $15 million in annual recurring revenue. And our core team you see up here, Patrick's with me today, myself, and Doug Walden. Patrick has over 30 years experience as an installer and business owner within the construction space. He's got an interdisciplinary background in architecture, project management, engineering. I've got 11 years in performance marketing and product management, and Doug's been doing business for 25 years, with 10 of that with BDC. So in sum, we're seeking $850K to help us build an 18-month runway where we'll reach all our key milestones by Q2 of 2026. This is what that breakdown looks like. We expect to be 600% ROI by 2028 and 10x ROI by 2029. Thank you. We're open to questions.
Great job, Gordon. All right. Questions for Gordon and Trade Specifics? Yes.
Thank you. I I have one question. You are targeting a full-fledged of, kind of full bag of features, okay? And how big is your team to provide all those features? Because you mentioned that your competitors are not providing all the features that you are going to provide. But I'm a little bit curious of the team who is going to provide all those features.
Yeah, so the current app has most of those features right now. So the app's already been built with those features in mind. But the claim that I'm making isn't that we have more features. There's a very core feature set we're focused on, and we're trying to reinforce those features with better habits. So
Okay, but with the funding that you are requesting, don't you think that it would be challenging to be as customizable as possible core features because you are targeting a large market? So there are even for like if you just pick one module, for example, payroll, there are a lot of possibilities that you need to cover to be competitive in the market. So I'm a little bit curious about what is your plan to tackle these challenges?
I'll get a closer look at what the roadmap looks like, because I think that competitor comparison makes it look like each one of those features is paramount, but it's more of a very specific subset. And I'm actually not concerned with the amount that we're requesting. So I think that answers your question.
I'll dig in a little bit more to the competitors because I think it's an important part. If you don't mind me going back to the competitor slide here, obviously there are quite a lot here, and choice can be overwhelming for your target market. So tell me two things. One, how are you getting in front of your target customer? And secondly, how are you winning in that decision for the customer to choose you over your competitors?
Yeah, for sure. So in the last 3 years, we've been to a dozen different trade shows. We've met thousands of people. We've got about 17,000 emails that we're working with right now. We're lined up for another 5 trade shows this year, including Vegas, which is a pretty big trade show. So one way that we get in front of customers is just demoing the product in that way. But I think how we're winning, you'd actually be surprised when we talk to most people. None of them have adopted anything yet. So when you think the market's saturated looking at this competitor set, even SiteDocs is really just about safety. So if you really dig deep into the core features we have, we're offering something that's been proven out with good habits that Patrick developed himself long before the app. And that's why we're building the app, is that most of these solutions don't really focus on the problem that we're solving, but they come close. So I wanted to put them up anyway.
And that's certainly validated with the traction that you've been able to achieve so far. And I guess going to the trade, do you turn on the marketing faucet? Like, can you get a lot more leads through that, or is it really just the trade shows?
We could, but we've been focused on this research and development phase right now. That's why we were doing the pilot. So we want to wait for our next kind of go-to-market push to sort of build the results of this pilot into the app. And that's where the focus is really on this like reward and building habits feature set.
Any other questions? All right, one back here.
Thank you. What are you going to do when, for example, Eyecare decided to develop features like financial rewards?
That's a good question. Yeah, you're asking about a moat, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's a lot of competitors who have the same functional like you, and maybe fighting according to the features is not a good idea.
Yeah, I see Patrick standing up here. I feel like you want to respond to this?
I want to clarify something is that our competitors or what competitors that you're thinking out there is managing the project. Procore, Buildertrend, everybody's managing the project. Your construction manager, project managers, goes to university, is familiar with tech. They do the report, they do everything. They work with the projects team, the architect, the developers to deliver the project. The problem trades are having and what we're having for problems, like me, I'm a siding contractor. I've been for many years. I do infrastructure building, multifamily. And I don't get the budget to have a superintendent on each of my job sites. So if I run 10, 12 jobs and you call me at 10 o'clock in the morning and say, where's your crew? Where's your team? What are they doing? I don't see them on site. I need these done by Friday. I've got this trade coming up following you. So I found that solution by teaching better behavior to little Paul and Joe and Mark that's doing the work, because they're not skilled workers yet. They're just coming into construction. We have to educate them on those better habits, teaching them how to use technology to bridge that gap to the developer and the general contractors together so that we can be more successful. Who's investing here in developments right now, and what's your carrying cost? How far are you off your baseline, and your carrying costs are huge. Why? Because we don't finish our projects on time. I proud myself for 30 years in business to finish on time, on budget, do a walkthrough with you the day before my deadline so I could give you my invoice and get a check from you. Now, it's a fight. We have to educate the workers, and there's so much work out there that they just walk. So that financial reward, yes, you can add this, but in the group where we are is the toughest bunch. And if I'm starting from the bottom up, well, I've sat down with the owners of Buildertrend and Procore, and they're all about it, but they say, Pat, it's the toughest space. So I dedicated my time in our research to really see what will it take from my workers to do better habits. And we have. And with the pilot we just did, I typically per crew perform 1,750 square feet. Well, the last 3 months has been 3,000 square feet per crew. So I'm finally finishing my last 2 jobs on time, on deadline, on budget, which my developers now are really happy. I'm not the one now waiting for the finals and occupancy and schedule and all this to close, because I've solved that issue. And again, in that space, all these features, or the basic features of the workers, what they have to deliver and learn, but at the same time, we can integrate with Open API to larger program, to larger project management software. So that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Patrick. And we don't have time for any more questions, but definitely Patrick is sticking around. Gordon is sticking around afterwards. So definitely ask your questions during the networking. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Give it up for Gordon and Patrick. All right. And our last presenter here, I'd like to introduce Justin Askapor of Eyecare X to tell us more about your business here.
Thank you so much, Aaron, and thank you, VANTEC. So Eyecare X is an AI digital health tech startup. We're focused on automating the eye exam journey. Ultimately, our mission is to create more affordable and more accessible eye care globally. Our vision is to create a completely autonomous eye exam. So my brother and myself are the founders of Eyecare X. We're optometrists by trade. We also own and operate a successful group of optometry clinics across the country. A problem we're consistently faced with across all of our locations is our inability to meet patient volume demand. What I mean by this simply is our clinics are too busy, and because of this, we're having to book appointments weeks, sometimes months into the future. And this problem isn't unique to us. About 60% of optometrists face these same business volume challenges. And this problem is worsening. In the next decade, we see a relative 12% decline in the eye care workforce. When we look at the cost to increase the footprint of an optometry clinic by just one exam lane to allow more patients to be seen, it's a very cost prohibitive $300,000 of incremental expense. And this problem of capacity is directly leading to an epidemic of poor vision. 1 out of 7 individuals in this room has an underlying health condition that will lead to blindness. That's a really scary stat. The good news is 80% of that sight loss is preventable, but only with routine annual eye exams. The problem? Half the population neglects to get their eyes checked on a regular basis because of this lack of infrastructure. And this is leading to $120 billion of leakage in healthcare dollars treating vision loss. So when we look at the traditional optometry journey, I hope everybody here has been through, in the 30 minutes in an optometrist's office, a lot of time is wasted doing tedious and time-consuming technical, administrative, and pre-testing tasks. The innovation of Eyecare X, leveraging artificial intelligence, we've automated the majority of the eye exam. We're empowering optometrists with the ability to outsource the majority of testing to customers' homes using our mobile application. This way, when a customer does come into the office, the optometrist notes a near 3x lift in optometric efficiency and productivity, meaning with near static OPEX and CAPEX, an optometrist can nearly triple the volume of patients they're seeing on a daily basis. Now, the global optometry market's a $112 billion industry, and North America represents about 35% of that. There's 42,000 optometry clinics in North America, and these are Eyecare X's prospective clients. Our business at its core is software as a service. A $3,500 monthly subscription gives optometrists full access to our suite of AI tools and also patient management software, priced competitively with what they're paying for traditional PMS software. Our goal is to onboard 70 practices in the first 12 months, 330 by the end of year 3. So when we look at success to date, 2022, we formally founded Eyecare X. 23 was spent automating a lot of these clinical tests. Initially, the simple tests like visual acuity, color vision. By the end of the year, the more advanced tests with ML backends like neurological pupillary testing and extraocular muscle function testing. 24 has been spent with regards to this tech stack development, regulatory clearance, and pilot testing of our prototype. So Q4 of this year, we'll have our commercially viable MVP prototype to be released in the market. Our go-to-market strategy is releasing the prototype in our internally owned group of clinics and also other facilities that we've signed LOIs with. The next step is to penetrate the fragmented independent optometrist market and also the very consolidated commercial optometry chain market. Our goal is to achieve about a capture rate of 1.3% of the serviceable market by 2028, allowing us to break even from a cash flow perspective. With regards to our competition, Eyecare X is unique in that we provide the most comprehensive suite of AI-enabled end-to-end eye testing for optometrists, creating a near 2 to 3x lift in optometric productivity. Our leadership team is incredibly strong. Myself, I'm the past Chief Vision Officer of Clearly, Canada's largest e-commerce optical provider. I developed Canada's first AI-based direct billing engine. I'm also the past president for the British Columbia College of Optometrists, the regulatory body for ODs, where I drafted the regulations for remote optometry technology. Our co-founder, Andrew, also holding various leadership positions with the various optometric regulatory groups, and our technical leads, Ziv and Said, with cumulative decades of software development experience coming from organizations like Simmons, EssilorLuxottica, and Johns Hopkins. Our advisory board, very supportive. Some highlights include the president for the Canadian Academy of Engineers, the past chief executive officer of Clearly, and also the vice president of information technology global for EssilorLuxottica, the world's largest eye care conglomerate. Our ask is $1.25 million of funding. This gives us a 16-month runway, 14 months in market, $750K revenue run rate in 2025, and a projected return of 10x for our investors over a 5-year period. I think that's it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Justin. I'm going to jump back here really quickly, just on the raise that you're doing right now. EBC eligible?
Yes.
We're EBC eligible. And any terms, or are you looking for a lead to help set those?
Right. Thank you so much, Aaron. So with regards to EBC, application is in progress. And with regards to terms, we're right now looking to secure a lead investor to help us negotiate the terms of the agreement.
Fantastic. We've got a question up at the front here. I'll get Ethan to come up. Thank you so much, Ethan.
I was worried I wouldn't get a question from you. So
No, you should. You bet. I would have a question. I see that, like in the long-term vision, okay, this can disrupt the optometry industry. So how do you think the clinics will trust you when you are disrupting their market? Because in the very long-term vision, I can have just the app, do the telemetry, no clinic requires anymore.
Yeah, so with regards to disruption, I think the biggest issue here is that there's such a large gap between the available infrastructure for eye care in North America and the need. So when we provide these tools to optometrists, they're right now actually quite desperate for these tools in order to service their patient basis more comprehensively. So there's a very defined need. And then with regards to 5-10-year outlook in terms of a completely autonomous eye exam, I'm not sure that's something that is going to be optometrists out of the loop. This is, again, an opportunity for optometrists to create a much more experiential workflow for their patients, provide much better care, but to a wider subset of individuals so that we can move the mark from half the population getting the care they need to 100% of the population getting the care they need.
Great answer. My only question is that, I've talked to a lot of doctors regarding another project, okay, and that was a common fear. Like they resist because they thought that in the long term they will lose their position. Okay, so I want to understand if you have any strategy to assure those optometrists that, hey, you will be kept in the loop.
No, I think everybody's afraid of change, and I think one of the best ways to align is showing the upside for the optometry practices. The ability for them to properly service their patient base, reduce patient backlog, and ultimately make a lot more money with static OPEX and no significant capital expenditures. That's how you achieve alignment with practice owners. So yes, there's apprehension, but if you provide a clear path of tripling top line with a relatively static OPEX structure, then that's how you achieve that.
Makes sense. Thanks.
Thank you.
While Ethan goes to the back here, I'll just ask a quick question. If you don't mind, I'm going to jump through your slides again to this, which obviously looks great. But you're looking to get to market this quarter, and we're so just under 4 months to the end of the year. And I think you have 11K MRR, and well, maybe it's not in this one. I know because I've been looking at this business for a bit. You have 11K goal MRR by the end of this year. Tell us a little bit about the sales pipeline, how you're going to get there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So we have an internally owned group of clinics and also some clinics that we've signed LOIs with. Our go-to-market launch is going to be launching in this internal, infrastructure. So there's 12 clinics, and that's where 11 of which we're hoping to be live in 2024, and that gives us the $11,000 of MRR. We don't have the capacity to scale past roughly 12 clinics with our existing team. So one of the big requirements for this capital injection is for us to scale an operating team that allows us to deploy this product in future sites, and obviously also building our sales pipeline. With regards to future opportunities, so we have this consolidated optometry chain market, and that's where we're going to lean heavily on our industry contacts. So myself, our other founders, and our advisors, we've held executive or advisory positions for the world's largest eye care providers: Specsavers, EssilorLuxottica, Clearly, Bailey Nelson. It's a healthy list. So that's going to be our first point of entry, and then also taking advantage of the fact that my brother and myself are optometrists. We deal with the sales pipeline of individuals trying to sell us things. So really making sure that we're providing the best-in-class sales pipeline, leveraging the independent optometry network as well.
Excellent. Let you keep that. Dave, did you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would like to kind of connect with you after just to kind of understand the technology a little better. But what is the effectiveness overall of your, like the patients are testing it at home, as I understand, right?
So currently testing is happening in the clinical setting. So we're extracting the inputs that a patient would provide at a home setting in our clinical office. The reason for that is our tech stack is still in development. So our mobile application that allows patients to perform these tests at home is going to be released end of this year, and that's where we're going to be able to actually utilize the full-fledged customer journey. At this point in time, pilot testing is happening in a clinic, meaning before the patient sees the doctor, those tests are happening on our system. And with regards to efficacy, this is a Class 1 medical device, so clinical trials are not a requirement for us to go to market. That being said, obviously for us to get our foot in the door with doctors, we have to show that our product is efficacious, and that's where we do have data to support our claims.
So I would suggest that you could target Indigenous communities in the far north, because the cost for somebody to get on an airplane for an eye exam is over $1,000. And if you can be any type of a pre-screening type program, and it will be paid for because it's an Indigenous community, then you can validate yourself in the market and provide some of the proof that will help you cross the chasm, rather than going and competing with the people who are already in the market.
We're very much aligned. Two of our first LOI sites are actually in Prince Rupert, and they service about a 50% Indigenous population. And we're actually hoping to leverage support from an Age Well program through NRC to support that pilot. So absolutely aligned that, a huge use case here is remote optometry in underserviced areas, specifically servicing Indigenous populations.
Great presentation, thank you. So if you're mostly an app-based solution, and eventually, I understand now you're still trying in the office, people are going to do some of the tests at home and then they will finish up in the office. So what is your biggest barrier to scale? Why aren't you able to grow faster once you have the solution if all the optometrists are already struggling with this issue?
Right. So right now, our first MVP is completely a software-based solution. So we've been able to automate on a time basis 50% of the eye exam, which is completely accessible through the cell phone. So in order for us to onboard more than 12 clinics, we require an operating team to do so. There's a lot of infrastructure that goes around servicing effectively an EHR system for 100 or 1,000 clinics. That's not something that a team of 6-7 individuals is able to operate individually.
I was asking actually more down the road, like as you go to 2028 and then you build the operational structure, shouldn't you be able to grow faster?
I would hope so. Well, and that's where when we build models, 8 years out on a pre-revenue organization, a lot of it's conjecture. So I would hope this is a very conservative estimate with regards to only penetrating 1% of the market over the next 4 years. But yeah, I would hope we can achieve much faster growth. I just don't want to get too many laughs from the audience, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Justin. Great job. Give it up. All right, so that does it for our presentations. Great job to all of the presenters today. Those were some really exciting, high potential companies that we saw today. We'll get the VANTEC slides back up if we can, but just want to give a big shout out to BCIT, the volunteers today. Thank you so much to Lindsay, to the Bottles and Bottega, which we'll enjoy afterwards. So grab a snack, grab a drink. We have our next event happening on October 2nd. That's going to be at the Manning Elliott office. So sign up for that event. Like I said, we're going to be switching over to the DLM, so that'll be coming out soon, and I'll be sending you all an email about that. And then there is the SUV pitch preview that's happening on the 3rd. But that's everything for this evening. Thank you all so much.